Hello, everyone. How's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. I'm the owner of the Calgary Language Nerds. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My team and I, we teach a wide variety of foreign languages to people of all ages and all levels of fluency. If you are learning a language that we offer and you'd like to work with myself or one of the tutors on my team, do not hesitate to reach out. Either myself or one of my tutors would be more than happy to help you out. With that aside, let's dive into this next video on how to learn another language. I don't think I have any major housekeeping items or anything for today, so let's just dive right in. Okay, I'm going to share my screen as always. Oh, my screen share button's not working. Why is that the case? Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. So share screen. Here we go. Boom. So we left off at page 27 out of 82. Now, 82 just takes us to the end of the past tense section. There's an entire future tense section as well. So we're not really like 1/3 of the way through. We're just 1/3 away through 1/3 of the way through on the past tense section. And today we're going to start things off by talking about personality and physical appearance. Let's scroll down here. As always, we start things off with the vocabulary practice. So speak with your language exchange partner or your tutor and fill out these words together. You can also, of course, simply use Google or an online translator or YouTube or whatever the case may be. And you can fill these out using that as a resource. If you choose to use Google, YouTube, or an online translator, make sure that you speak with your tutor or your language exchange partner, and just make sure you've got the right words. So the word list for this chapter here is introverted, extroverted, smart, kind, generous, brave, friendly, funny, grumpy, honest, mean, nervous, polite, popular, beautiful, handsome, tall, short, fit, chubby, muscular, thin, bearded, and clean-shaven. Now, of course, as in every single chapter, I say this every single time, but it's best to say it every time in case you happen to join the course partway through and you skipped some of the earlier chapters. I would encourage you to go above and beyond the vocabulary that I recommend you learn. And the way to go about learning more vocabulary is to simply do some of the additional activities and exercises that I give in the program. So when you do this character description, for example, you are going to, in a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Natural and unstructured and organic way, you're going to bump into lots of words and phrases you don't know how to say. So when those happen, you speak to your tutor, you speak to your language exchange partner, or simply use a dictionary to figure out, how do I say those words and phrases that I don't know how to say? Pretty straightforward. That's been the pattern now for this whole course. The writing assignment for this chapter here is a character description. So you're going to think about a book, film, or TV character that you like. And then you're going to describe their personality and physical features with as much detail as you possibly can. The more detail you can go into, the better. This is not the time to say, oh, I really like Emma Watson. She's a famous actress who starred in Harry Potter. Like, no. You want to describe, like, oh, my favorite, this is, I have Emma Watson. She's a famous actress who starred in many movies, such as Harry Potter and this and that. She's tall, has this color eyes. Her hair is short, and it's such and such color. She is very fashionable and kind, and blah, 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 right? Describe that person with as much detail as you can. But the key here, in fact, I said Emma Watson. I probably shouldn't have. The key here is you don't want to reveal their name. Then you book a time with your tutor or speaking partner, and you see if the person can figure out who you are describing. This can become a writing exercise where your tutor or speaking partner reads it out, gives you corrections on your writing and they try and guess. This could also become a speaking exercise where you tell them that description and they try to guess, and then you tell them who the person is. So you give this description of Harry Potter or whoever it is, right? Who plays Harry Potter? Daniel Radcliffe, is that right? Anyway, whoever it is, you describe the person and then you discuss the person because maybe your tutor doesn't know who that person is. So then you have to actually explain, like, oh yeah, I like this person because of this and blah, blah, blah. And you haven't seen that movie, Mr. Tutor? Oh my God, here's the movie. Let me show you. And it sparks a conversation. So this doubles as a writing practice as well as a speaking practice. For those who purchase the workbook, here's a page that's provided to write the description. I can provide a digital version of this workbook, or of course I could provide a actual printout kind of version. It's up to you. And you can make extra copies of the sheet if you'd like to. The speaking practice is the following. So we have a photo description. So you'll find some photos of different people from magazines or TV shows or movies or whatever it is, and then you describe them. This practice here also doubles as a writing practice. You could also do this and practice your writing that way as well. So in this chapter, it's a bit unique. The speaking practice and the writing practice, so they sort of double, and you could kind of do both. The writing practice can be a speaking practice, and the speaking practice can be a writing practice. And it's something you can do multiple times for each speaking and writing practice. You can do it for multiple people, if that makes sense. And then you chit chat about them with your tutor or your language exchange partner. In terms of the video practice here, I'm going to have you watch a period drama. Now, what the heck is a period drama? You might not know what that is. Well, a period drama is a show or movie that is set during a very specific period of time. And they're going to have costumes that reflect when the show happened. Their clothes will, the way they speak will, everything will. The sets will, the restaurants they go to, the bars they go to in the show, the things they do. It'll all reflect that specific period of time. And so what you want to do is you want to find a period drama to watch in your target language, and that's something that you watch, and maybe you throw some English subtitles on if need be, and try to get into it if you like it, of course. But the specific activity here is to describe the main characters to your speaking partner or tutor after you've watched 1 or 2 episodes, and then discuss this movie or discuss that show together. So this is also kind of a listening practice, but it also will double as a speaking practice as well. And heck, if you want to triple it, you can also do this as a writing exercise too. Does that make sense? So I can give you I'll give you kind of a funny English example of what you might do. Let me stop my screen share. Let me go to YouTube here. I'll show you without any copyright problems. I'll just show you one show in English, for instance. It's a time travel show. It's not really a period drama, but it does work for this. It's called Legends of Tomorrow. I love this show, by the way. So here we go. And it's a time travel show. So sometimes they're well in the past, sometimes they're in the future. So even here, like if you just look at this first result, you can see she's got this cowboy hat. She has this kind of collared shirt versus I don't want to click one of the videos because there will be some copyright issues if I do. But, if we look at this one, like he's wearing like a very futuristic suit, and look at those sunglasses he has, very different types of outfits, right? So this shows an interesting one for English learners because you could what's the word I'm looking for? You get practice with all sorts of different clothing types and even personality types in this show in particular. People have such different personalities in this show. It's really, really interesting. It's a bizarre show, by the way. It's such a strange show, but I love it. I really love it. So period dramas, or watching something like Legends of Tomorrow, of course, if your target language has something like that. These are all good things to be watching. And as always, when you're watching these, as for every single chapter, let's actually open this up here. Let's open up a recent file. Let's go to level 0 for a sec. As a reminder, every time you do listening practice, you're always listening for 10 to 20 parts or timestamps where you think you understood what they said, but you weren't sure, or things you didn't understand, but you definitely want to learn how to say. At this point in your language learning journey, I think you're still not quite fully advanced enough to understand most of what people are saying in shows. Like you just don't quite know enough yet. But pretty soon, like especially once we get to the tail end of level 3, you might really start to get into this fourth level here too, this fourth point here too, where you're starting to look at the plot points of what you don't understand. Well, I'm going to start to sprinkle this in soon because this is going to start to become relevant reasonably soon. But for the time being, you're focused primarily on these middle two here. At this point, if you're at this level here, these are the middle two things you're listening for. 10 to 20 timestamps. And then you ask your tutor or language partner, hey, what are they saying at these timestamps here? Okay. Here's an extra notes sheet as always. And that takes us to step number 4. We're going to do step number 4 in one video here, which is the biography of a family member. Okay. It's going to be a great past tense practice. And actually, if we go back here, what's funny about this chapter, actually, as I was looking at this right now, this chapter is almost a bit of a palate cleanser in a way, because there's not much past tense that's happening in this chapter here. It's a bit of a palate cleanser. You're getting back to the present, and it's just looking at describing words and things of that nature. But you're not doing much in the past as I'm looking at this right now. So it's a bit of a palate cleanser chapter. Okay. Chapter 4, step 4, biography of a family member. As always, we have our vocabulary practice that you have to do. And so let's actually go down here. What you're going to end up doing at the end is you're going to tell the life story of some family member that you look up to or admire in your family. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, sister, brother, whoever it is, maybe your kids or whoever it is. You're going to tell their story, and you're going to use those past tenses to do that. Okay. But of course, we have some vocabulary to cover off first. So it's book a time with your speaking partner or your tutor, and you're going to ask them, hey, how do I say these kinds of things? Or alternatively, you can use, YouTube or an online dictionary or whatever the case is to learn how to say these words. We have to be born, to grow up, hometown, to move, to become friends, to fall in love, to date, to get engaged, to get married, wedding, to get a promotion, to change, to retire, to die, or to pass away. As always, you can go above and beyond these words, these vocabulary words. It's just a starting point. It's just to get you started. As you do the remaining activities, the speaking practice, the writing practice, etc., as you do these things, you are going to naturally stumble across things you don't know how to say. And it's a great time to look those up and write those down and try to incorporate them. So here we get to our writing practice, and this is called My Family Member's Life Story. So you're going to pick one of your family members, and you're going to write about their life. Include all the important events you can think of. Use whatever past tenses you have to, as well as any vocabulary you've learned to write this biography. This is a pretty cool one because you can have some fun with this one here too. It becomes like a pretty fun project where maybe you don't know a heck of a lot about the biography of someone in your family, even when they're super close. So maybe this is the time for you to actually speak to them and actually interview them about their life, right? And ask them questions that maybe you don't know the answer to. It's funny, I'm thinking about it myself. There's people in my family I'm super close to, and obviously I know a lot about them, but at the same time, I could not write a proper biography of my own mother, for example. I couldn't tell you what school she went to for elementary school, couldn't tell you what junior high she went to, couldn't tell you what high school she went to. Heck, I couldn't even tell you what her undergraduate degree was in. I know she was a teacher and she studied education, but I don't know if you could have just studied only education back then. I think as of right now, anyway, you can't do that in my city. You do like an undergrad and then you do an extra teaching certificate for teaching. It's called a Master's of Education, I think they call it. Yeah, there's so much I just don't know. Like, I think she grew up in just one house, but who knows? Maybe they moved around. I don't know. Like, there's so much. So you could use this to really get closer to someone in your family. If you're not really close to your family, maybe you pick like a friend, or maybe you pick someone else that you know. Worst case scenario, maybe you could do even a famous person, like an actor or something, if really you're stuck and there's no one in your family you want to write about. So take your time with this one. This will be a lot of fun. You'll learn lots of words. You'll need to use a dictionary for sure, because lots of words that are related to someone's life that maybe you just don't know how to say, right? And then, of course, I didn't write it in this document, but make sure you get your exchange partner or your tutor to read it, correct it, give you some feedback on it, and then discuss it with them, right? And heck, maybe your tutor or your language partner also does this too, and they can tell you about one of their family members and their life. Okay, so here we have a sheet where you can write this biography down. You'll probably need more than one sheet. This will be a pretty big writing assignment, pretty long one. And we have our speaking practice. So tell me about them. Tell me about them. So now you're going to prepare some questions for your tutor or speaking partner about their family history. So ask them about, well, whoever, right? I've just written them because who the heck knows who you're going to ask about. You might ask about their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, and talk to them, right? Where was your brother born? Where was your mom born? Where did your sister grow up? What did she study? All these past tense questions. And of course, you're going to be prepared to talk about your own family too. So take turns talking about the life events of multiple people so your conversation can kind of flow naturally. This shouldn't just be something you've written out and you just read it and then you move on with your life. No. Like have a real conversation here to the best of your ability. And of course, we finish off with our video practice. And this will be a little bit hard to do. It'll be a challenging listening practice, but hopefully interesting. Watch a biography. Yes. Is that what they're called? Biographies? Yes, biographies. Find a biography to watch in your target language about some important historical figure that interests you. Of course, it has to be in your target language. It could be about someone that's related to the culture of the country in which the target language is spoken. So if it's French, maybe you watch something about a famous French person, could be, but it doesn't have to be. It could be about any individual. In fact, maybe a little hack at this stage here is you watch a biography in your target language about someone that you actually know a little bit about, because that's going to make the listening comprehension a bit easier. Of course, if you're not sure who to watch a biography of, you can just talk to your tutor or your speaking partner for a recommendation. If you want to get some extra speaking practice or even writing practice for that matter, you can actually practice retelling the main points of that biography to your speaking partner or to your tutor. Or you could even write that out and get that corrected to get some writing practice in there too. You'll learn lots of vocabulary by doing this. It's a great exercise. You can do this multiple times and you'll really learn a lot. As a reminder, when you're watching the biography, you're going to write down timestamps for things you think you understood, but you weren't sure. And of course, things you don't understand, but you definitely want to learn and you want to know what they say. These are often things that were repeated multiple times, right? That you kept hearing, but didn't know what it meant. When you do these video practices, I haven't said this up until this point, but I should have said it right from the beginning. I should have said this even in the introduction videos, to be honest, of this whole course. I might have to go back and add this in some way so that people get this really nice and early. When you do your video practice, it's totally acceptable to keep English subtitles on at this point. Same language subtitles are great, but I think as of right now, you're probably a little bit too beginner to get the most out of same language subtitles. So English subtitles for now are just fine. There's no problem with that whatsoever. You can use English if you'd like to. I'm not opposed to it at this point in time. And that takes us to step 5, which is parenting. I think we'll jump into parenting next time. We'll wrap this up here. So let me stop my screen share. I hope you enjoyed this lesson here. Hope it was helpful for you. Hope you learned something new. If you have any feedback, questions, or comments, just go to azren.thelanguagenerd.com/free course. That is spelled AZREN, thelanguagenerd.com/free course. Scroll to the bottom of the page. There's a little link there that says contact us. Feel free to email me and I'll answer any questions, comments, or feedback that you have. You can also just find me on any social network. My username is the same everywhere. It is at Polyglot Azren. That is spelled POLYGLOT AZ or Z, depending on your country, REN. And have a great rest of your day. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye.